Hey guys, so as I may have mentioned, I have been on a magical mystery tour for the last month and a half now, just about, and one of the wonderful things that has come out of the last month and a half is that I essentially retired from working. And so I have just a ton of time now to read, which I had like no time or ability to focus on doing that before. It was a real struggle to even, I was always reading like 5 different things, but I'd only get through like 5 pages a day or something. It was awful. But now I've just been like burnt. I've read so much. I've read more in the last 6 weeks than I have in the last couple decades probably put together, believe it or not, but it's true. Other than Neville Goddard. I went through a crazy Neville Goddard phase at the end of 2019 and read every single book that he wrote and all of his lectures and everything else. But anyway, I've mentioned on here before that I am a crazy book buyer, and I buy like, at least, it's slowed down a little bit, but I buy like at least 5 or 10 books a week probably, and they just go on my shelf, and then I am magically led to them at the right time. It's really interesting how this plays out. This is one of my favorite parts of the illusion, is just the magical way that I'm led to the information that I am ready to assimilate at the exact time that I'm ready to do that. So I was, one of the books that I was led to read over the last couple of weeks was God's Debris by Scott Adams. And it's a really fast little book. It's a novel, but it's about the illusion. And there was an interesting little part of it for me. From each one of these books, there's 1 or 2 things that are sort of like the takeaway for me. And what I found interesting was the idea in this book that affirmations work only when there's something that your subconscious mind already can kind of guess is going to be successful for you. So like if you have an affirmation and you repeat it for a couple days or something and then it drops off, that's because your subconscious mind, which knows all and knows, you and what you're doing and all your thoughts and all of that stuff, is sort of like the collective of all of what's going on with you. If that computer or whatever it is assesses that you're not mentally in the place where that is going to materialize, it just kind of drops off the ability for you to continue to repeat an affirmation. And I found this idea really interesting because while affirmations haven't been a big thing for me, I've made a couple of videos on this channel about intentional sort of experiments that I did with them. And I noticed something very strange happening whenever I would do affirmations. First of all, this is probably just me. I didn't pick anything way out there. I picked something that I legitimately wanted to affirm having in my life at that time when I did these experiments. And so what I would choose might be different than what someone else would choose, but I would do these affirmations while walking around the track at the gym, and I would do them like, I'd pick one affirmation and repeat it for 10 minutes at a time. And then I would take a little break and then do the same thing with something else. Or I would do it while driving in my car, because driving is very meditative, but I don't do that very much anymore. But what I noticed when doing these affirmations was after maybe the 3rd or 4th session, which with any given affirmation, I would come to realize I was affirming something that was actually true already, which was kind of, it didn't feel like it was true when I started affirming it, but it was almost like the affirmations that I chose completely, like I didn't do this on purpose. The affirmations that I chose were something that I was just trying to awaken myself to, something that was already either in the works or it was just, or something that I was just sort of blind to already being the case. So like, I wish I could come up with a good example, but like, I had an affirmation, this was like 2 years ago, I had an affirmation about the person that I was like having a relationship with. And after doing it 3 or 4 times, I realized, oh, this is already true. like so-and-so or whatever, I am so-and-so's ideal woman or whatever. I realized, oh, okay, that's not even changing anything. That's just waking me up to the fact that I'm blind and that is the case already. Stuff like that. And I would just, once I kind of realized that the things I was saying were true, then I didn't feel all that much of a need to continue to do it because I realized that they were true. It was, and I found that really interesting. It seemed like almost no matter what I would choose, that turned out to be the case. And anything that wasn't like that, I just didn't feel almost any draw to say, like, some wild out there thing that I didn't really have any desire for, or that, that wasn't something that could hold my interest long enough to repeat an affirmation about it. And the stuff that I did choose to say affirmations about were like just the right thing. Like they were the next step on a path towards moving forward for me. So I found that really interesting because it wasn't conscious when I would choose the affirmation. It was almost like I was trying to awaken myself to something that I was blind to that was already true. So I found that interesting in relation to the concept in God's debris, that affirmations, the only way you can sustain an affirmation, or that, I don't know if the only way, but generally speaking, your subconscious will weed out any kind of affirmation that you try. You will just lose interest in doing it, or you will not be able to sustain your mind will wander away. If you're doing an affirmation that isn't something that is likely, according to your subconscious mind, to come true. I found that an interesting concept. But so all of that as just a lead up to talk a little bit about how much language is personally, monumentally important to me, and I'm guessing lots of other people who are like me. Affirmations, when you say them, they're not just words that you're repeating over and over again. The idea is to actually feel something. And language, for me personally, evokes all kinds of feeling. And the wrong language is just completely useless. But when I stumble on something that is the right combination of words that evoke the right feeling, it is so powerful. It's insane. It's insane. It can completely change the course of something, one simple little phrase. So I wanted to talk about one of these phrases that has just been like, it has the ability to change things on a dime for me. I forget it, and then when I remember it, it's so powerful, and I'm guessing this will be the case for many of you as well. And that phrase, that 5-word phrase, is simply, I am better than this. How many times a day in your life are you sitting there in kind of a down emotional feeling about some aspect of your life or yourself? It can be subtle and you don't even notice it, but most of the people, I think, that are in this area looking to improve their lives, looking to learn how to manifest things, looking to learn how to master their mind, are doing so because they're not already in this high vibe, high flying disc state all the time. And that phrase has the ability to just slap me across the face and wake me up. I am better than this. Anytime I'm sitting there feeling bad about some area of my life, that is the phrase that I say to myself, because it is an illusion. This whole thing is an illusion. And the idea that there is something wrong with you is one of the biggest parts of the illusion. The idea that there is a fixed state that you are meant to be in, that you deserve to be in, that is just you, that is one of the biggest parts of this game, that if you don't figure it out, you're not going to be able to play it the way you want. That phrase has been key for me all throughout, like the last, decade. Some version of that idea, it doesn't have to be those words, but reminding yourself that you are better than whatever the situation is that you're in. You're better than whatever treatment you've been accepting from somebody that's been making you feel really bad about yourself, or that you've been using to feel really bad about yourself. You're better than that. You're better than the job that you're not happy with. That's why you're not happy with it. You're better than the behavior that you continue to engage in that is creating effects in your life that make you miserable. You're better than that. You can fix it. You can figure your way out of it. You can have faith in the path for the way out of that being made known to you if you have no clue. You're better than this. You don't deserve to be where you are. You don't belong where you are. You're better than this. You're capable of more than this. You're going to have to think of whatever phrasing evokes that feeling in you, but some combination of words will awaken the understanding, just like my affirmations did. You'll understand that it's true. You have the capability to rise out of whatever situation you're in right now. And the only reason that you're not doing that, the only reason that you're not taking the actions automatically without toil, the only reason you're not taking the actions to walk right out of the situation that you're in that's making you unhappy is that you don't believe that you're better than this. You don't believe that you can do that. You don't believe there's something better on the other side. Over and over and over again in my life, it comes back to this mistaken belief, this illusion that this is all there is. This is the best I can hope for. I'm not capable. I can't do it. It's like that is, in my mind, in my opinion, in my experience, the central problem with like 90% of people and where they are. There seems to be this human tendency to default to that. It's weird. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say today. I hope that reached the right person, and that whoever heard this can come up with something that, you can use. This is all about tools, because you have to be out there in the world living your life in order for things to change, in order for, a situation to arise where you can then apply and do something, apply one of these techniques or tools differently so you can change, and then you take a new path forward. I hope that helped somebody. You are better than this. Have a good day.